3 years ago, my kid betrayed me by moving in with my narcissistic ex-wife, who left us for her profession. I discovered that he has been meeting her in secret for several months. I need to get this off my chest, but it will be lengthy. As I sit here in my empty house, I wonder how it all came to an abrupt end. 3 years ago, my ex-wife Veronica, 40F, left me and our 17M son Michael, and now he is also turning against me. I met Veronica in college. She studied marketing, while I studied business. Before getting married at the age of 25, we dated for 2 years. She was unique at the time, kind, supportive, and focused on her family. Even though it originally meant living on a limited budget, she was overjoyed when I launched my construction company. I learned everything from my dad, who had also worked in construction. I even got my first contracts thanks to him. Veronica seemed material while employed at a nearby marketing company. We were ecstatic when Michael was born. She eventually hated me for taking a year off work to be with him, saying it hindered her ability to advance in her job. When Michael was about 11 years old, things began to change. Company had expanded greatly, and we were at last financially secure. However, Veronica's happiness turned to restlessness. She began going to more networking gatherings, frequently in cities close by. She would return home and lament about how she was stuck in middle management, while her college classmates were rising to the positions of directors and vice presidents. At first, I helped her advance in her career. I supported her decision to change firms in search of better prospects. I took care of things at home when she had to go for conferences. However, nothing was ever sufficient. She would gripe about our little town, claiming that there were no genuine chances. When Michael was 13, my father abruptly passed away. It was difficult for my 75-year-old mother, Laura. We relocated her into a house a few blocks away because I was the only child. Veronica also expressed dissatisfaction, claiming that it further bound us. Then the job offer from California arrived. She was suggested for a VP position by a former coworker who had relocated to Silicon Valley. Although the income was great, money was no longer the only consideration. We lived in a lovely house with close neighborhood links. And Michael was doing really well at school. He excelled academically, had close friends, and played baseball. The altercations became heated. Veronica said that her success threatened me. She would argue that since she helped me through the early stages of my business, I owed her the same. She decided to take that year off when Michael was born, and I reminded her that I never asked her to put her career on wait. She began skipping Michael's games and staying late at work. She was always on her laptop or phone while she was at home. Michael also became aware of the changes. He would ask me why Mom was never happy, or why she was too busy to attend family dinners. Her announcement that she had taken the California post without consulting us was the last straw. She threatened to leave without me unless we all moved. She packed her things and departed when I refused to alter our life. It was a difficult first year. When Mom abruptly canceled visits, Michael would sob himself to sleep. I gave my all as a parent, went to all school functions, assisted with schoolwork, and made an effort to keep him occupied with things that might take his mind off the hurt. During this period, my mother was of great assistance. She would prepare meals, assist Michael with schoolwork, and provide me with a listening ear when I needed it most. In order to help us, my sister Rachel, 38F, also came to visit more frequently. The situation appeared to stabilize during the last 2 years. I got to know Michael better. On the weekends, we would go fishing, which Veronica always thought was dull. He appeared to be making progress as he joined more school activities and acquired new acquaintances. Then, last week, when my phone was charging, I used his to look up a number. I saw the messages at that point. Between him and Veronica, there were dozens of them over several months. Every time she came in town, they had been meeting in secret. They appeared in pictures at eateries, stores, and other locations I was unaware they had been. Their remarks about me were the most painful. They made fun of my small-town outlook and my inability to deal with powerful ladies. I drove her away because I felt insecure about her success. Veronica had persuaded him. All this time, she had been poisoning him against me. I challenged Michael, and he blew up. Claimed he had had enough of me running his life the way I ran his mother's. He disclosed that he had applied to many California institutions without informing me. Veronica had offered to cover his tuition and had assisted him with the applications. I became angry and ordered him to leave me if he wanted to do the same thing his mother did. After? Leaving abruptly, he proceeded to my mother's place. I don't believe I'm being harsh, but she called later and said I was being too harsh and that she needed to see he was just a confused youngster. They abused my confidence, plotted behind my back for months, and painted me as the bad guy when all I did was work to maintain the stability of our family. I'm sitting here now questioning whether I should have anticipated this. Shall I attempt to prevent him from relocating to California? Is it wrong of me to be this angry? Update 1: My previous post was 2 weeks ago. Thank you for all of the encouraging remarks. I need to complain once more since things have grown more complex. My mother's house is still where Michael resides. I begged her to cease allowing this behavior, but she has been providing me with regular reports on his mental health. She said last week that Veronica was traveling down to assist Michael in resolving the situation. What came next caught me off guard. On her infrequent trips, Veronica generally stayed at a hotel, but this time she moved into my mother's guest room. She was warmly received by my own mother, who saw me struggle for 3 years to reconstruct our lives after Veronica departed. Yesterday, my 38-year-old sister Rachel came over with some unsettling news. Through social media, she had kept in touch with Veronica on occasion. It seems that Veronica had spent nearly a year organizing this. Her company's opening of a satellite office in Seattle marked the beginning of it. By moving there, she saw a chance to be nearer to Michael, but desired to hold off until he was prepared to depart. I was sent screenshots by Rachel of discussions in which Veronica explained her approach. For months, she had been quietly working on Michael, imagining the wonderful life they could lead in Seattle or California. She would offer him escape from our constrictive small-town existence, email him pictures of gorgeous college campuses, and discuss internship chances at her firm. I underestimated the depth of the manipulation. She purchased him fancy clothes, the newest iPhone, pricey presents, and even a vehicle that is currently parked in my mother's driveway. After hardly sending birthday cards for years, this was the first time. She would tell him about how I was envious of her aspirations and how I had held her back during our marriage. Finding out about their covert weekend getaways was what really got to me. They were spending whole weekends together until Veronica would come over, saying she just had time for a short supper with Michael. They took part in shopping sprees, college visits, and even looked at Seattle residences. Rachel discovered that, in order to keep me from seeing her, Veronica had disguised herself to attend Michael's baseball games and school functions. She would choose a seat way back in the stands, sporting a hat and sunglasses. I believed I was the only parent who cared enough to attend, all the while sitting in the first row. In an attempt to justify her behavior, my mother said that she just wanted Michael to have both of his parents. But when Veronica left us, where was this concern for maintaining family harmony? Michael would grieve every time his mother missed a birthday or holiday. My anger increases as I get more knowledge. Veronica's desire to get back in touch with our son wasn't the only reason for this. This was a deliberate attempt to have him oppose me. In order to make me appear like the bad guy who kept them apart, she waited till she had enough money and stability to jump back in and play the part of the entertaining parent. For advice, I gave my 45-minute lawyer pal Timothy a call. In case it comes out later, he recommended recording everything, including the covert meetings, the manipulation, and the pricey presents. Michael stated that having a record of parental estrangement is crucial, despite the fact that he is almost 18. I'm being told to let it go by certain relatives. Michael will just become more distant as a result of that battle. I should be thankful that Veronica wants to be involved in his life now, they say. But when he needed her in his early years, where was this maternal instinct? He was on the honor roll when? When did he win his first baseball title? I feel like I'm seeing a reenactment of history. Veronica is using promises of a glittering future to influence Michael, while deleting all I've done for him, just as she did when she coerced me into supporting her career as she prepared her leave. Seeing my mother's side with them is the most difficult aspect. People deserve second chances, she says. However, this is no longer about second chances. This is about someone using money and false promises to methodically ruin my connection with my kid. Should I attempt to show Michael how manipulative Veronica is? Or will it only make me appear more like the resentful ex-husband she has portrayed me as? It's been 2 months since my previous update. The situation has become worse. The most agonizing discussion of my life took place after Michael returned home last week to get more of his possessions. Rachel had sent me screenshots, and I had spent weeks compiling proof of Veronica's manipulation. I made an effort to sit Michael down and carefully explain everything. When he got there, rather than pay attention, he accused me of trying to control his life to this day and stalking his mother through Rachel. At last, the truth about their ambitions was revealed. Veronica has already accepted a job offer from her employer, which is establishing an office in Seattle, a posh 2-bedroom flat close to the University of Washington, where Michael will be starting this autumn, has been leased. She has set him up with a summer internship at her firm prior to the start of college. Finding out that she has been assisting him with progressively packing and shipping his possessions to Seattle for the last month crushed my heart. In reality, Dad was packing up and sending his life away piece by piece during all the hours my mother said he was studying at the library. He justified all of my charges against Veronica. He said that she was putting a lot of effort into creating a better future for him when I brought up the fact that she had missed his 15th birthday due to an important meeting. He accused me of being petty and clinging to the past when I brought up the innumerable baseball games she missed. When he discussed his ambitions for college, it was the last straw. In addition to his acceptance to UW, Veronica has pledged to cover all expenses, including tuition, housing, a car, etc. Spending cash. He said he didn't want to owe me money when I reminded him that I had been saving for his education fund since the day he was born. After Michael went, my mom came over. She attempted to clarify that teens frequently have periods of favoring one parent over the other. This isn't a phase, though. Someone who is well-versed in manipulating others is responsible for this. In the hopes of moving there myself, I discussed building a branch in Seattle with my 44M business partner, Dave. However, he reminded me of my duties in this company, my mother who need assistance and my workers who rely on me. Furthermore, Michael has stated that he does not want me to meddle with his new life. In addition to Michael and Veronica, my own mother, who enabled all of this, has also betrayed me deeply. She finally acknowledged that she was aware of the preparations in Seattle months before, but she chose to remain silent out of concern that I would get very upset. What's the purpose of trying family counseling, as several family friends have suggested? Veronica has already triumphed. She is now taking my son with her after achieving her desired profession, all the while portraying myself as the irrational person who is unable to let go of the past. Before he departs, I need to know how to spend the upcoming months. Shall I continue to attempt to tell him the truth about his mom? Or ought I just take a back seat and let him figure it out the hard way? Update 3. My previous update was 3 months ago. It was last week that Michael graduated. After some consideration, I made the decision to go. Bridges must be maintained for the future, according to my mother. The ceremony itself hurt. Veronica, who was wearing high-end clothing, was seated next to my mother in the front row, and I was seated at the rear. After that, they had thrown a massive graduation celebration at my mom's house. Although I was not invited, I learnt about it from Rachel, who went for a short time out of duty to her family. When Michael delivered his valedictorian address, it became even more clear how betrayed he was. He expressed gratitude to his mother for training him to pursue his aspirations, no matter what, and for demonstrating to him that there is a wider world out there. Anyone familiar with our tale might see the irony. The father, who had been there every day for the last 3 years, was not mentioned. The preparations for Seattle are already well underway. His first baseball glove, childhood pictures, and the few baseball trophies he left in his room at my house seem to be a purposeful message. He is utterly abandoning his previous life. According to Rachel, Veronica has been sharing updates about their new beginning in Seattle on social media all the time. Images of the new flat, college supply buying excursions, and mother-son bonding moments have all been thoughtfully chosen to highlight how wonderful a parent she has become. Her commitment to her kid is praised in abundance in the comments, which also emphasize that there is always time to make amends. My mother constantly telling me that I'll regret not getting in touch with him before he goes. However, every time I think about it, I am reminded of all the covert meetings, deception, and manipulation. I didn't make the decision, he did. Veronica sent me an email last night. She talked about how karma works things out and how she's finally got her son and profession, which are everything she's ever wanted. She even dared to recommend that I go to therapy in order to address my control issues. I didn't reply, therefore I erased the email. In 2 days, Michael departs for Seattle. He seemed disappointed that I didn't struggle more to stop him, according to my mother, as though he wanted me to show that I cared. But these manipulative games are over for me. Allowing someone to make their own errors is sometimes a necessary part of loving them. I'm concentrating on my company and starting again without them for the time being. Michael might eventually get why I was unable to support this choice. I have to accept that. For the time being at least, my position in his life is finished till then. Rachel believes that Veronica will ultimately reveal her true nature once more. We'll see if she's truly changed after the thrill of playing happy family fades and real life and obligations take over. However, I'm no longer concerned about it. I have discovered the hard way that you cannot shield others from their own decisions.